Oh, that was an awful start. I was muted. So let's try it one more time. Turn my music. My mic's a little bit loud. Okay, perfect. So yeah, sorry. Welcome to Japan Time. Yeah, I'm Kyle. Like my name's Kyle. I live in Japan and streaming live from Japan here. It's like 10 in the morning. And yeah, for the stream, I'm gonna kind of start and talk about schools in Japan, maybe schooling in Japan, mainly because it like super connects with my kids going to both nursery. Well, my youngest goes to nursery and she's changing to a kindergarten. And we actually had to go to a kind of um, little interview. It wasn't really an interview, but it's just to get prepared for her nursery. Kindergarten, sorry, and yeah, she goes to a nursery now, and she will change to a kindergarten. Just for those that might not know, because I mean, I wasn't in the know until I started having to go to these places. So yeah, nursery is it's pretty much like a sort of daycare. It's not a teaching place; it's just a look after place. While kindergarten is more focused on teaching, so there's lessons in the kindergarten. They wear uniforms in the kindergarten, while they don't wear any sort of uniform. Normally, they do sometimes, but normally they don't wear uniform for nursery. It's really just to look after the kids while the parents are at work. Yeah. So yeah, today I'll talk about a bit about maybe the kids' school life. What I have to do, and my wife have to do as parents. The sort of maybe like I don't the sort of stuff my son has to do as homework. So my son is in primary school or elementary school, depending if in the UK we say primary school, in America elementary school, and they tag it usually. In Japan, they call them elementary schools, following the American naming. However, though in America they call them grades, I believe grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the UK we call them year, so year 1, year 2, year 3, etc. They also call them years in Japan. So you have Ichinen, Ninen, Sanen, Yonen, Gonen is one. It's basically year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So it mix and matches. So yeah, I'll today's stream I'll be talking about that a little bit as well. For anyone who joins in on the stream, like either if you're watching live on Twitch or YouTube, or maybe you're watching it in YouTube after on our channel, like any comments you want to check in or any questions that come into the chat, I'll answer them live. Do my best there. Like I mentioned, if I don't know, I mean, I will literally go out and research and find out for you guys. So for sure, I've done a lot of different things while I've been in Japan, especially living here. But there are a couple of things I obviously haven't done either, because they are, for example, I haven't been to a maid cafe, and I mean, some people might go crazy and absolutely love or want to go to a maid cafe no matter what. But my feeling is like, I don't know, it's super cringy. It's super cringe or just super embarrassing. So and it's expensive, so it is very expensive, very very expensive. So it really would be like a one-time only thing. But again, for you guys, if you want me to do like a live stream in the maid cafe, then I'd look to see if they're okay with doing streaming there, and do a live stream then, and you can watch me get embarrassed while they call me master or whatever whatever the going term is these days. So yeah, they in so I live in Fukuoka, so we're at the southwest. Fukuoka is like it's in the top 10 biggest cities in Japan. I think it's much less known than places obviously like Tokyo, Kyoto, or Osaka, which are like the big three that pretty much everyone knows. So yeah, Fukuoka's it's a really nice city. It's a really good size. The center is a very busy place. The Shinkansen has a station at Hakata Station. It has a stop there, and we're just in a good enough position that you can go outside the city and go to the seaside. So we got some nice beaches along the north side that you can go to. There's coast all along, so you can just go along the coast as much as you want. And it's super easy to get out of the city and into the countryside. So I live like to the far south of the city, so it only takes like maybe 30 minutes, probably less, to actually get out of the city range. Would take about 10 minutes in car. and then maybe an extra 10 minutes, and we'll start seeing like countryside. And then if I go like a different direction, we'll be in the mountains. So Fukuoka is kind of surrounded by mountains, so it is a really nice place. Anyone who would come to Japan, I would recommend visiting. It especially like it's obviously quieter than Tokyo. It's far less busy, but I think it's got some like excellent places to go to. So if you've been to Tokyo before, or wanted to try something new or something a bit different, then I highly recommend Fukuoka. Right. Anyway, so today schools. Let's do some more about schooling at schools in Japan. So which we start? We start from the bottom, or we'll go through the system first. It's probably best. So they have obviously nursery and kindergarten, which is your sort of starting point for where the kids go to school. Then they have elementary school, they have junior high school, and they have high school. Maybe something important to bear in mind is elementary school is compulsory, and junior high school, which is 3 years, is compulsory. So elementary is it goes from about 6 years old to 12 years old. And then you have like 13, 14, 15, which is junior high school. And then you do your like 16, 17, 18 as high school. Now, high school isn't compulsory. So when you finish junior high school, you can stop basically. You don't have to go to high school. And even high schools. So, for example, elementary school and junior high school, you have to go to the one in your area. So of course some families choose where they live because they want their kids to go to a certain elementary school or a certain junior high school. High schools, however, you can go to any high school you want. So some kids will actually go like really far away, going to live in dormitories or whatever in wherever they want to go. So that can sometimes happen where the kids might maybe change city, I guess, to get away from parents or whatever, even though they're as young as they are. You've got the high school. They do have a choice, and another reason why they choose as well is that some high schools are more focused on certain career lines, I guess is the way to see. So there might be one that's better for computing. There might be one that's better for sports if you particularly want to go into any sort of like sports side of things. There'd be better ones for maths and engineering and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so you can see why that they want to go. Kids want to go to certain high schools. So that's generally how the system works. After high school, they would then go to university, or they have like these like a college. So so again, when I say university and college, I'm going to be using like UK's terms. So a college is more of a place where you'd go to learn a vocation, meaning that it's going to be a hands-on thing like hairdressing, builder, plumber, electrician, this kind of work. While university is literally somewhere you'd go for your degree, and it's obviously based more on study and high-level practice and so on and so forth. And it's the same in Japan as well. They have daigaku, which is the university, and daigakusei, which is a student. And you've got your actual colleges as well. So they'll have like fashion-based colleges, for example, and engineering-based colleges, and whatever. Yeah, much the same as you'd find anywhere else, whether it's in the UK, America, or worldwide. And these universities have usually quite strict entry, so there are entrance exams, which is where students can get really stressed out. The other thing as well they have in Japan are juku. Juku are after-school schools, basically. So once some kids finish school, the parents will be paying for these jukus, and then they will go to another school. Basically, they'll have a tutor who will help them with whatever, so be it maths, English, science, kanji, like Japanese, etc., etc. So these are kind of popular. I say kind of, they're very popular actually. So yeah, my personal view on it is a little negative. Um, I think it's a very cultural thing, especially for Japan, and for their want of, yeah, like strong education. Um, the negative side for these sort of jukus are that a lot of the kids aren't learning anything. So because I've taught a lot of kids English in various places. A lot of them they've obviously spoke about Juku, whether they go to Juku after my like evening lessons that I was teaching, which is like, I mean, they weren't even early finishers. So like maybe they'd finish like 7 p.m. They'd do 6 to 7, then they'd go back to Juku. So they might have left Juku to come to the English lesson, then they'll go back to it until like 9 o'clock. Yeah, and I mean these kids are like 12, 13, 14, for example, are doing like 9 o'clock finishes. Yeah, like which would be of learning. Yeah, it's not like it's fun and play and they're going out with their mates or doing some gaming or whatever they're doing. It's literally they're going out to learn more, and then they go home, dinner, bed. So like one boy, he was like home by 11. You know, he'd have his dinner around then, bed by midnight, and the boy's like 12. And yeah, that was like every day, yeah, except for the weekends. So it's pretty insane, I think. And then I guess it's also they have clubs has the sort of similar thing as well. So the pressure on clubs is massive. If you go into like a basketball club, tennis club, baseball club, like it's morning training. They want you to come training every school morning before school starts, or every time after school. They want you to come on the Saturday. They want you to come on the Sunday. There's no rest. It's harder going to these clubs. It feels like, or at least it feels to me like for these kids, than working full time, because it's not like they don't go to school. They have to go to school as well as doing like all of this training and all the weekend training and stuff like this. So yeah, like I feel really sorry for these sort of kids, because it's just hard. It's a really hard life, I think. And I do wonder if they really enjoy it. Like maybe at the start they enjoy it because it is something they want to do, but like I feel that it can quickly become something that's just not enjoyable. I mean, you do anything and you're forced to do it, like early mornings and every weekend. I mean, you're not going to want to do it. Doesn't matter how much you like football, how much you like rugby. People get tired, don't they? Yeah. I like to say the same about gaming. I mean, eventually you do, don't you? If you're gaming like non-stop, yeah, and filling in your Saturdays and your Sundays of it, I mean, you do get burnt out. You want to go out maybe for some food. You want to go out and meet your mates. You want to go to the cinema, yeah. And yeah, yeah, there are people who absolutely love gaming, put big hours into it. Yeah, sure, but you're still usually at least taking some kind of break or doing things in between. Yeah, so like YouTube in, reading some stuff online, checking websites, whatever. Yeah, watching a streamer even, because it's different to watch someone who's streaming than it is to be like actively playing a game. So yeah, like if you had to do non-stop, like you would get burnt out eventually. Even the most hardcore out there. So yeah, it's much the same for these kids doing their club. Yeah, that like it's just burning them out. A lot of them would just eventually quit. Yeah, and they're very harsh on even missing days to say kid's sick or whatever. Like the club leaders will call them up and ask them, where are you? Why aren't you training? Yeah, I'm sick. Well, I mean, that's not good enough. Yeah, like maybe they'll be really pushy and say like, how are you sick? What's wrong? Like, what could stop you? Come to club. So yeah, like the school clubs is another thing where it's a bit extreme, like the Juku. Yeah, I think it's pushing it really hard for these kids. Yeah. Um, but yeah, and I mean, one reason that maybe this Juku thing is kind of popular is maybe the parents are working long hours. So like again, it's linked to this Japan's too strong work ethic. So and I have seen it with a lot of people I've talked about. I mean, they just can't refuse to do if the boss says that they need them to do 3 hours overtime for a week, a month to try and finish a project or whatever. I mean, they can't say no, basically. Um, like, and there's multiple reasons for that. I mean, yeah, of course, in the Western world, you would say, oh, sorry, like that's not my contract. Yeah, of course, they could say that, and they do say that. It's not like everyone's just bowing to the pressure, but there's places where they would lose promotion So why is the boss going to promote someone who doesn't do the extra 20 hours overtime every week? Yeah, of course it should never be like that, but unfortunately, I mean, what can you do? And like, yeah, of course, there's like work committees and things like this, and what government work groups you can go to, but it's like, yeah, like in a way, it's like going from one bully to another. Like I imagine there isn't much that's done to these companies, by these monitoring agencies that might be working with exactly the same work ethics. Yeah, so you can imagine that the government's like team for combating this like massive pressure on working extra probably has a team that's working extra. So yeah, like how can you win? So anyway, these because these parents work incredibly late, you can see that they would prefer the kids are somewhere where they're being managed or at least looked after. So when they put these juku for the kids in juku for the long hours is because they work long hours. So they'll finish work, go get the kids, go home, which is, I mean, yeah, it's unfair. It's very unfair on the kids, especially. Yeah, because ultimately, a lot of these kids are sleeping. Yeah, they go to Juku, they take a nap. They're not focused all the way through. I mean, they're doing longer hours than like most people do 9 to 5s. So these kids are just falling asleep. I've had this boy and girl who were doing Juku all the time. They came into my lesson, and usually they alternated. So the boy would just put his head on the table and sleep the whole lesson. So the mum's paid for a whole hour of lessons. He's just slept through it, and so I'll be just teaching the sister. Sometimes the sister sleeps, and just teaching the brother. So yeah, occasionally they're both awake and they're a nightmare, but yeah, a lot of the times they were just sleeping in the lesson. I mean, yeah, like what can you do? It's something that is outside. As a teacher, like I can't just keep waking them up. Yeah, it's like I'm not their parents, and that's the parents' choice really, whether they keep pushing their kids until they just can't take it and they're going to sleep and so on. So yeah, it's a real brutal. The schooling system can be particularly brutal for for the kids. There is quite a strong emphasis on English. There's a lot of things that have changed in the schooling for English itself. So now they start in elementary school towards the end. So I guess it's going to be around the ages of. So my son has started some very, very easy English that he is obviously well beyond in skill, skill wise. So he's doing the ABCs and hellos and things at 8. His years, the 8, 9 years old, year 3. But then 4, 5, 6, they'll be doing some more stuff, songs, etc. And then when they start junior high school, then they start doing a lot more written and grammar stuff. Obviously, the system is not perfect because, especially now, they want Japanese teachers to take over the English teaching, and they call them Japanese teachers of English, and they cannot pronounce words correctly. And it's a sad fact that that they might be able to speak, but there's never focused on pronunciation at any point. So you'll have teachers of English teaching incorrect pronunciation to kids who will learn incorrect pronunciation. So yeah, it's it is like that. Their reading and writing generally is much better. I say much better, is infinitely better than speaking and listening. Yeah, because they're not practicing with with a native teacher. Sometimes they do get native teachers involved, but they've only got a smaller part maybe in the classroom, and now they want to completely take away that foreign teacher part of it, aspect of it, and just have the Japanese teacher with their incorrect pronunciation. So yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how downhill the English level is going to go, especially for speaking and listening, which is is almost key, more so than reading and writing. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing for the future there. what else then? So in the schools themselves, obviously not just English they're doing. They study Japanese. Kanji is a really big part of their life, and it's something that they start really early. As soon as my son got into elementary school, he was starting to learn kanji. Um, One of the biggest parts, what they're doing a lot of reading and they're doing a lot of writing, and they're doing a lot of kanji writing in particular. Hiragana and katakana they learn incredibly early, and they do still reading in hiragana and katakana, and mainly that's just to get their reading speed up. And as they learn more kanji, they start replacing these hiragana with these kanji, and then they start just reading until it's almost it's all kanji except where they need hiragana, where hiragana's actually placed. And now, for example, my son's in year 3. It's just one Japanese class he does, but I think they will split it up because they do something like Japanese literature, much like English has English literature as a class. They do biology, chemistry, and physics. Though again, as an elementary student, it's combined, so that they swap through them as and when. But again, they do split when they become junior high school, much like the UK system, and I imagine it'd be much like America's system as well. Language-wise, I don't think they learn so many languages. I think maybe they could have some choices, really depending on what school they go to, in maybe France, German, and things like this. But I don't think that I've really seen any sort of major focus on languages at all. Yeah, at all. English is really the one that the schools have taken on board, and even that is not producing the results that they desire for sure. They obviously do PE, so they've got sports there. What else does my son do? So yeah, at the moment it's actually quite a small focus. So as an elementary student, his focus is maths, science, and Japanese. Is more or less these 3, with small things put into his schedule. He starts school at 8:30, but he goes earlier. Then we drop him off at 8, and then he goes through until. So the finish times actually change. Like for example, this week, it's Christmas week, which is probably the reason why he finishes at 2:20. However, they finish like sometimes he finishes at 3:30, 3:40, and 3:30, 3:40 is probably the usual time that he's finishing up. Normally they can walk to school. Sometimes kids are dropped off by car. Though I don't think this is really the case. It is because of how small the roads are in general and how busy the traffic is. They do prefer people don't take them by car, 100%. I take my son by bike because he has a heart condition, but for the most part, the kids walk to school. They have the special bag called a Rando Seru. We can, we'll have a look. So I can pop that on Google. It's a I don't know, massively famous bag really. Let's have a look. So if I check on the old live screen, oh dear. Sorry about this, guys. Oops, let's see. I've got to capture. I knew there'd be some sort of little issue that was going on. Right, bear with me a moment. I'm going to put in. Oh, maybe that worked. Get Chrome. Right, so hopefully this will. Oh, look at that star. We'll move it down so you can. Fantastic! Look at that. So yeah. Sorry, I have to do this on the fly. That's what I get. That's what I get for being new to all this. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see this now. So you got these what you can see there, the Rando Seru. I'm gonna move my screen around a bit so I can see. So yeah, these backpacks are the backpacks they have to take to school. So they'll have these until they hit junior high school. Once they hit junior high school, they do change. I don't think they can choose the bags they get. So, for example, the junior high school that my son would be going to, I see the students because obviously they're walking home and they all live in this close area, and they actually have like their school name on their bags, so obviously all the same bags, but they're more of a backpack, yeah, obviously along, with this school sort of system. But here you can see they've got like a Nike brand, Nike. I don't know how you pronounce it. You pronounce it Nike, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be said Nike. That's like a more traditional ones. Sometimes they have some hero ones, or for example, if I put Kimetsu no Yaiba, Kimetsu no Yaiba is Demon Slayer, super popular. So here we go. You got let's check that up. It's always good fun. So yeah, Kimetsu no Yaiba and Lando series. So I imagine some kids are really dying to get a hold on those. So you got Tanjiro and Nezuko styles, and it comes in the box, the characters on it and stuff. Maybe another thing to bear in mind as well: these Lando series are not cheap. They are absolutely not cheap. So each of these particular bags, so they say they're not going to deliver them until next year, September. But they're $700 a piece, more or less. In pounds, that's going to be about £500, £400 to £500, which is, I mean, wow, yeah, wow. I think my son's bag also, it definitely wasn't as expensive as that, but it also was not cheap. There's especially around the time where the school starts. So in Japan, school runs from March till April. So April, it finished in April, and then the new, sorry, wrong way around. April to March. January, March, April. Yep. So yeah, in April is when they start, and they finish like mid March. So they do have a little bit of a break between them. However, they have actually discussed changing to sort of the Western time, or the rest of the world's time. So it's like, it's September and August, September through to August. But anyway, so they do theirs from April. So when it's coming into April, when you're in March, you're going to see a lot of TV adverts for Anduseru, loads, especially around the kids program time. So if it's like early morning kids TV shows, or after school, or even weekends, you're going to be like seeing backpack videos like men. And here you can see, there's like loads of pictures here. You've got the kids walking to school with these backpacks on. Now the hat thing. So at my son's school, for example, if you're in the first year, Ichinensei, you actually get something. So you get two things. You get a yellow hat, much like these kids are wearing, and they even have a yellow thing that goes on their Roundotelu. That's really to point out that they're first year kids, especially when they've started, they might panic, get lost, not have anyone to go to school with even. So it's all for like the other kids to really help them go to school, and just for parents to be aware of kids that, might get lost, or, just in general that they're kind of new to schooling. So yeah, here you can see this yeah, for sure. This yellow bit is gotta be the message, yeah. So this says that they're like a first year, and it just goes over the bag. Yeah, it's easily removable. Of course, you could get super sparkly ones. There's like, I saw like a knight one, like let's see if we can find it. It had like a sword on it. It was like a hero's Landoselu, but hero Landoselu might work. It didn't work. This is just more like general stuff. There's a luxury one, for example. I mean, that's a Lexus one, is it? It is a Lexus one. I imagine it's made. Is it carbon fiber or something? Yeah, it says material from it. So I iconic sports car. So that looks like it's a carbon fiber one, and that's why it's like $1,350. I mean, if your kid's going to school in that, they're living the life, really. It is Model Royal. This is the one with the swordsman advert. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a very good, or at least a close look on this. Oh, it looks like it's on someone's German sweater. Yeah, it looks like someone's chatted about it before. We can have a look at Model Royale. Let's have a sneaky peek. Model Royale. Did it work? Did it call Al Royale? So it's a bit maybe Model Royale's the brand. I've definitely seen this sort of like Angel's Wing TV commercials for the Lando Selu. Yeah, these are maybe more their standard ones, I'm guessing. I would assume that they would have a shop as well, so maybe we can have we just slam on Amazon. That's always a good place to go. So yeah, we've got yeah some funky. It looks like is that Cinderella style? It's got the glass slipper, or at least it's got a high heel. Yeah, that's a bit strong, isn't it? Yeah, before I load that, yeah. So I mean that's also pretty much on the same rate. So it's $600, like 400 quid. You can see there's obviously a lot cheaper ones there. We've got like 6,000 yen, so that's like $60, $65 one, or $160 one. So yeah, there is quite the range. It's not like the kit you stuck having to buy one that's insanely expensive. And there's like a million different patterns. But the general bag works in the same way. It has like an auto latch, so when the bottom of it locks on underneath. So here you can see that's the lock there. So you turn the lock and pull it off, and the lock will then stay horizontal. And then you just push it over. When it goes over it, it will automatically click back. So yeah, it's kind of easy and kind of hard because it is on the bottom, so it is a bit of a ball like to reach. Otherwise, they all pretty much look identical to that. They got a fair bit of space into them. I think they're also a little bit heavy as well because it's not just like a normal backpack. They got all this leather and stuff on it. So yeah, they're hard wearing. Yep, they'll go through the whole. They'll go through all of their primary school, elementary school life with them. But they are expensive. But they, yeah, I guess they are hard wearing as well. So, yeah, one or the other, and they're not forever. That once they go into like junior high school, and especially I imagine high school, they can just choose what bag they want. I don't think they're going to be forced to follow those sort of lines. Uniform wise, kids don't wear uniform in elementary or primary school. My primary school in the UK, you had a uniform. I'm pretty much the same. I'm guessing it's going to be the same for pretty much every primary school in the UK. I have no idea about American schools, so sorry. Like, I mean, I'd only ever base from what I see on TV, and on TV they don't wear uniforms. So maybe it's more in line with that. When they go to junior high school, however, they do wear uniforms. Junior high school uniform, and it's going to be the famous ones that you'd know. Sailor one there. This is very much the sort of uniforms that they're wearing. Yeah, it could be like that. It'll be like that with some sort of like jacket on. Yeah, same. This is the sort of the pleated skirt sailor sort of thing going on. Yeah, the boys wear the trousers with this sort of like very strongly buttoned and coloured sort of top on. Yeah, this style as well. Ties. I don't see ties so much, but yeah, I think ties can be a thing as well that comes up, fairly often. This is not. This is not what they wear. This is some. I don't know, just cosplay, I guess, of they say England uniform. So yeah, these uniforms are actually quite expensive. So here they show this one as being the girls' summer uniform, this one being their winter uniform. I should put my middle school uniform. Little Corbett in America. So yeah, I mean, you can see the sort of uniforms that they're following. Most of the time it's black. I'm showing some of these ones with like what's that, a burgundy? Yeah, I guess so. So this is linked to some university junior high school, and yeah, high school. And of course, this is Japan. That there's a lot of cosplay that you can buy, which is more or less these uniforms. yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into it too much. The uniforms, aren't they? And yeah, they're fairly fashionable things for yeah, like big street, for cosplayers and things as well. Definitely. What else then? What is usually special? The kids go on school trips, which I mean, that's the same as anywhere. Um, when they in elementary school, they at least to this point, my son's never been on a sort of long distance trip. Everything has literally been in the city. At the start, they might have gone on like small trips to the park, but they've been to the beer factory. It's a beer factory. Obviously not to drink beer, just to have a look at how it was made and stuff. It's just an interesting trip. And they might go to the museums and things like that around the city. When they hit junior high school, I think that's when they start, especially with high school, they might be doing more international trips. So we're located not that far from South Korea. You can take a boat from the docks at Fukuoka, and it will take you about an hour and a half, and you'll be in South Korea, Busan. I've never been myself. I would actually quite like to go, but alas, coronavirus has locked down everything. So we're not going anywhere. The flights have been massively reduced, and you can only really go in the country. Though I'm sure there are some international flights, but I imagine they're greatly reduced. So yeah, that'll be and of course, if I go over to Bhutan, I will do my best to do some live streaming there as well and show off. Obviously, it gets a little bit harder because yeah, my phone, my SIM is Japanese, and I doubt there's any sort of linked contracts. They're going to be wanting to be like, pay please, pay for your data. So yeah, well, I'm sure you can get like portable SIM stuff there, like you can get anywhere. But yeah, on the nursery and kindergarten front, they do try to follow the same sort of system as the junior high school. So one thing like I mentioned is they have undokai. Is exercise, but it's basically sports day. That's what it is. So they do, they have some running events. It's not every event, and it feels quite different to not my elementary sports day, but definitely to my junior high school sports day. But yeah, like the elementary sports kids are doing like a running race and dance. It's not quite like I think what there'd be in like a primary school, elementary school in the West, because the dance is quite a big thing. They'll do a big dancing routine, and all of the class will be dancing together. And then they'll be going on to the races. Then they'll do some fun events, like they'll be passing a ball. Like they'll have to make their year, for example, or the different classes into a big queue, and they'll have to try and speedily throw a ball down. So they'll try and get it from the front to the back, and it's a big race basically. So it's quite fun. Unlike the UK, all the parents come. So it's a very when they have a sports day, it's normally on the weekend, not a school day. They'll get it on the weekend. So on your Saturday, you'll have like all the parents will pop down. It's almost like a fight because the space is the size it is, and people want to get prime video locations. So all the parents go down early, real early, to like reserve their space, even get some chairs down so they can sit. It's almost like they're picnicking, is how I'd say. But yeah, they get their reserved space quickly. They'll try and get a spot at the front for filming their kids. That's kind of quite orderly because usually the year that the kids are the years of the kids that are running will have the parents, only those parents that are obviously have their kids there, standing at the front recording. Once they're done, they'll drop to the back, and that the next parents come over to do their sort of recording of their kids. So it's never so bad. But it's just that initial trying to get your space, and if you go too late, there's a queue. It's a queue to go in looking for space. So yeah, it can be hectic. In the nursery side of things, it's very different. I mean, the nursery my daughter goes to is extremely small. They can't have more than 20 kids there, I think. So, yeah, the parents go in for it. Not this year, obviously. The same for my son's school. Coronavirus has stopped this happening. They just sent, in the nursery, they sent videos. They showed some videos and photos of the event because it was teachers only. For my son, they didn't send even anything. If I think they did some little things in school, but I think in general the event was cancelled because no one could go. And yeah, in the nursery, it when we could go, it's a really small affair. There's only a few parents there. They do some really easy stuff because I mean, my daughter was 2 at the time when she was doing this sports day. The kids are only going up to 5, 6-year-olds, so and there's only 20, so yeah, it's a really easy affair, good fun for the kids, yeah, and nice little event. Doesn't last too long. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. The nursery kids do get some trips, normally to the park. They have something that looks like it's like a wagon, shopping trolley, however you want to picture it. And they put a lot of the little kids go in there and they get to ride that. So I guess they get some fun out of it. The older kids usually have to walk though. If they got too many kids, they can't fit them all in. Some walk, and the little ones get to ride because they can't walk fast enough. What else? What else about school in Japan? I would say like a lot of the things, anime does kind of give a good idea of what the school is like, but not perfect. Yeah, like for example, in anime they got them on the rooftops. That's not happening. Yeah, the kids aren't allowed on the rooftops. The rooftops are locked if they have rooftops. So yeah, that's one thing. The triangle thing, making these pyramids, apparently that happens. My son's school's never done it. Some schools have banned it because every year the kids are breaking bones. I mean, they're literally hurting themselves. And I'm not surprised because, I mean, it's a massively dangerous thing because they're going up like 4 people, 5 people's worth. You fall from the top badly, especially you hit your head. Like, that's it, you're going to die. Yeah, break a neck, can't walk anymore, whatever. So I say, like, yeah, of course, don't do it. Like, there's absolutely no merit to doing it. But yeah, they still have places that are doing it. I'll show you, I'll check it on. Let's check it on the camera so you guys can. Right, if I messed this up, window. There goes the random sound one. Why is it not showing it? Oh, because it shows this new tab. Sorry about this, guys. This is definitely something I'm gonna have to. No. In fact, can't possibly be that one because we closed that one. Oh dear. Right, so it's not even capturing. All right, sorry. Bear me a little bit more with this one. This is what I get for not doing a test stream. Right. I'm gonna add in, rather than a window, can I not just capture my entire screen? Yeah, display capture. That's the boy. That's the boy. Get my main screen here. Excellent. Oh, not excellent. Sorry about that. That's the wrong screen. That's the right screen. Get screenception. Right, there you go. So yeah, you guys can see my screen now. So this is Japan human pyramid. Not. And yeah, this is it. I can see they put some YouTube amazing Japanese human pyramid. Well, it's amazing until this boy like tumbles down and breaks his arm, breaks his leg, etc. So yeah, they've had a lot of you can see here BBC new rules for human pyramids in Japanese schools. I mean, it's one of those things that just is from the olden days. I'd say more than anything. So yeah, and it's a lot of kids as well. So if you're in the middle of that, it can't be fun. So yeah, they do stuff that's that might be considered. I think because sometimes they have the kids going out in quite cold weather. I think that's more the same. That's the same in a lot of places, but I do wonder on like why some of these sort of traditions kind of like kept in place. Yeah, there you go. This is Undokai, which is the sports day, and the thing they're doing for it. Japan's controversial human pyramids. But like I said, I've never seen it done at my son's school, but I mean, when he goes to junior high school, that might be a different thing. And here you can see what can happen. students crashed in human pyramid collapse. So, or human, sorry, students crushed. So yeah, it ain't a great idea. So yeah, that's one thing that happens. Right, let me take you guys back into. There we go. Sick. So yeah, not so great. Other things. What else do event? So they have a few events that go on. Actually, we'll do it with the live stream. Move this over so you guys can see me easy. They do Mochizuki, which is Mochitsuki, which is this is actually how mochi is made. So right, I'm gonna have to go even deeper. What's mochi? Mochi is the sort of it's a sweet. It's a rice cake is what they call it. It is literally made from rice. As you can see there, they put rice in this in this mortar, pestle, mortar, cup, whatever you want to call it, and you hit it. So at the start, like it very much just looks like they put hot rice in, and they usually push it around at the start. It's the sticky rice, so they want it to stick around, and they push it around first, so they don't start hitting it immediately. Normally you have 2 people. Sometimes they do it with 3. And they'll push it around first, so everyone will push it around to try and mix it up a lot more. Then eventually it should start looking a bit more like this. It all blends together. So let's see if we've got one that looks more. So yeah, you can see this green one. So that would have just literally been dyed rice, yeah, before they got to this point. And then once they've mixed it up enough, they start hitting it. You start whacking it, and you take turns. So they're supposed to be in order. We're seeing, we got the internet. We can YouTube this as well and have a look. It's an additional way. I don't know any other way, to be fair. So yeah, I'm going to talk over this, so we'll actually be
Let's take a look at a mochi.
So yeah, you can see that's literally the rice that they use. They put the rice in there. When I've done it at the school, it's always been hot rice. So it's usually steaming. There you go, prepping it up there. Right, so yeah, they've added it. Looks like they added it into the hot water directly there. So yeah, that's the pushing. So the first phase is they have to push around here. They got 3 of the guys doing it. The school kids that join in and do this. Usually the older kids, because the hammers are a little heavy and it's really hard work as well. So yeah, here you got 2 guys beating it. I guess these are the guys that did the did the video maybe, so they get to enjoy. So yeah, at the start it's not too bad, but you keep swinging around a heavy hammer, it gets tiring real fast. So they usually have a guy who's doing this, so you have to move it around. Usually they have to add a bit of water as well. You can also put the hammers in the water, and that's just to stop it from sticking to this mochi, to this rice. And yeah, you basically hit it for a good while. It'll start to more like this, so you can see that's where they've finished it now. Mochi is used in a lot of different sweets. Here they're cutting it using flour there so it doesn't stick. They consider us the mochi balls. You can see it looks now at this point it looks absolutely nothing like rice. It doesn't look anything like the rice it started at. I wouldn't even say it tastes like rice so much. Yeah. Here they're now putting it in. So that's anko they put in. Anko is a sweet bean. It's a sweet bean paste. So they have 2 types of anko normally. They have one that is like, I'm going to call it slightly crushed. So usually there's a lot of the bean shell and things in it. And then they have basically smooth. So that is where it is ground down to its like absolute. And yeah, here they've put the mochi out for sale. So these guys are like super zoomed for it here. But yeah, that's pretty much the process of making it. And that's what these kids do in the school. So they they sell it then to whoever's about then, or sometimes give them out as well. I mean, we could check out Anko over here as well, so you guys can. Oh, we got a character. Put sweet bean paste. So yeah, how to make anko. So here I think they've showed the two. Yeah. So so they call it Subuan and Koshian. The an being anko. So it'd be Subu anko and Koshi anko. And you can see it underneath. You got it's chunky. So when they say chunky, is because it's got like lots of it's not been mashed down to its absolute. And they got the fine one, yeah. So I don't actually like this Subuan. I like the Koshian. It's definitely my favorite. Here you can see the red beans themselves before. This is where they've literally been slightly munched up, being this Subuan. And then here they've shown an example of this Koshian, or Koshianko, which is the super smooth one. And then it goes into the Anko mochi. And there is, so this is Daifuku, which is a type of, there is lots of different mochis. So here you can see it's absolutely filled to the brim. It's not just Daifuku, but many other types, and they have different fillings as well. It's not just anko. You can have chocolate, mochi and chocolate. Ice cream is a popular one. So you can even go to like your convenience stores and get this mochi with ice cream in it. There you go. They put chocolate and strawberries in it. Sometimes they do matcha. They have matcha in the mochi. So you have the green tea mochi. Again, with anko or whatever filling they decide. We can see if they've got any sort of interesting. Yeah, this is a Chinese one. Sesame balls, they say. But yeah, I mean, there's loads. There's loads. If you go to any sort of confectionery shop in Japan, you'll be able to buy like a million different types of mochi variations, and then some places have their own like specialties. So near Fukuoka City is Dazaifu, which is a famous temple here, and they do a Dazaifu mochi. I don't remember the name of it for the life of me. So yeah, it's this umegai mochi. That is what it is. So this one's a fried one. So they actually fry it up, which is again different to how you'd normally get it. And it's a local specialty as well. So I thought they might have a few more pictures of it. This is the Zaifu Temple. So this is the temple itself. That's the entrance way you have to walk through. And here you can see it. This is actually how they cook it. So they put it on and they're actually frying it on these plates. I don't even know if you can get it outside of the Zaifu because it is actually a local speciality. It's umegai mochi. But yeah, it's also yummy. I mean, there's a million yummy versions of mochi for sure. Anyway, super going off on tangents in these chats, but that's one of the sort of stats things that they do at the school events as well. Other than that, they have like they do have a summer festival. It's so I actually also participate in the summer festival because I'm part of a volunteer dads. So they have a dads club called the Oyaji no Kai, which is something like old man or something like that. It doesn't mean dad. And Kai is in this case it is a kanji which means like group. Yeah, so you'll see Kai used in a lot of different ways, meaning a group. And basically we volunteer. A lot of it is volunteering is cleaning like the streets and pathways that the kids might walk to school, picking up rubbish, picking up the cigarette ends, things like this, and tidying away, which is actually the first time I've ever seen anything like this done. It was actually coming to Japan where I participated in it. Sometimes we help by cleaning up around the school itself. So for example, they have a drainage system. It is just like it's literally just a stone a square or whatever I call it drain. It's quite a big one, like a storm drain. But it filled with like mud and rubbish. So the shovels came out. There was like 20 dads, and we just got shoveling, getting it out, getting it moved. So that's another point where the dads club might participate. And then and we even do the summer event. So the summer event is usually doing things like food and whatnot. So we were frying up chicken. Got like a grilled chicken. I have a photo because I participated. This lovely fellow down here, he might be familiar. So I got this hat on. It was summertime. It was absolutely baking. It was a sweat fest. But this actual stall that you can see, these are all guys that are mostly they're all dads. Everyone with a red vest on it is a dad basically. And you got the teachers as well. Some of the teachers assisted as well there. And we sell it. It's all run by different groups. So you'll have like the mums from the PTA there, the dad groups there, the local like the disability place have sweets and stuff that they brought for sale there. They're running like the PTA people are like parents are running, and teachers run a load of like games and like a little bit of like a music stand. It's just a big kind of like festival, big party basically. You got to sit, you just sit and eat, and the kids are playing. They've got tokens. They're running all sorts of games, like lobbing balls at things to try and win prizes. Whatever they decide to run at the time. They've got raffles going on, and generally it's good fun. It does run quite long. Again, it's usually on the weekend. Starts in the afternoon, and it will run till like 9-10 o'clock, maybe even. For example, when we do it with the Dad's Club, so everyone will start shooting off as it starts closing down. We tidy up, we pack everything away, move tables away, so the work doesn't even end at the end. And then we, for all that hard work, we have a Dad's Club meal, Dad's Club meeting, which is alcohol time basically. So it's time to go and get wrecked, and oh boy, do these dads get wrecked. So yeah, it's normally off for a drink at like an izakaya that's booked beforehand. So it'd be like usually a mix of endless alcohol because they have nomihodai. Nomihodai means all you can drink. So it's all you can drink beer or shochu normally. So that shochu is massively popular alcohol. I really don't enjoy it, but I mean there are different. It can be different. So you get like sweet potatoes shochu. I guess rice shochu. I'm not really sure, but they mix it. So they mix it into usually they mix it with water to like dilute it a bit, or it can be mixed with anything, lemonade. They have these like shochu sours, so that it comes with lime or lemonade or whatever. It can be mixed with pretty much anything. So, but it is a fan favorite. You'll see that like if the dads ain't drinking beer, they're drinking shochu. And then after that, sometimes it can be karaoke. Everyone's pretty wrecked by then, where some of the classics come on in the old karaoke. Sometimes I've seen some of the dads even go for ramen afterwards. So they got, especially around the station, local station, they got these late night ramens because people are going out drinking all night. And, they get the super munchies. They have like a ramen at like 3 in the morning, and then they go home, go to bed. So I mean that's pretty hardcore. I don't know about having a whole ramen at that time because I mean ramen is mega filling. But yeah, that's a little bit of the school life as well, getting drunk with other dads, working hard and whatnot. So yeah, I can't think of anything else that comes to mind. If you've got any like sort of questions or anything you want to add to, like you want me to talk about, I'll finish up this stream for now. I'll look to stream it maybe a bit later today, and again. Once I get something a little bit better in place, my phone unfortunately doesn't have the absolute best camera, but if I can get a nice little setup on my phone and maybe with a microphone, I'll look to doing some live streaming. So I'll when I do my recording for YouTube, I will look to do a separate live stream. I'll look to do some times that might be more accessible. Maybe like this time it's probably quite good for maybe people in America. But like people in Europe, it's going to be really early hours. Now it's like 2 a.m. UK time, 3 a.m. Europe time, 4 a.m. etc. So probably not the best time, but maybe in the States it's going to be early afternoon maybe. So yeah, I'll look to streaming at a variety of times. I will try and do an afternoon stream today. I didn't get the chance to do it yesterday because I fell asleep with my daughter. But yeah, I'll try to do an afternoon stream for you guys. Do a little bit more chat. Maybe have a look at some of these Ichiban Kuji figures I've got because that can be really interesting. there's some really cool stuff that you get in it. I did, if you look at like my past streams, you should be able to see a video on that one. And on the YouTube as well. It's it's the same recording, so I talk about Ichiban Kuji and how the system works, etc. So yeah, for now, take it easy, guys, and yeah, thank you for joining the stream. I got a nice little stream ending soon thing, so you'd have to see my face. You can just have a listen. So yeah, thanks to anyone who watches, who'll get to see the stream, watching the stream after, for example. I mean, today's focus was more on school, but like I went on some small tangents, of course. If you're in the chat, fire off your questions. It's super good to get new questions, and yeah, like and definitely check a follow in. It's super appreciated. If you follow as well, you get to see when I'm streaming. My schedule just shows as the times I'm streaming at the moment, and they're probably not going to be too far off how it will be if I put them down as sort of like permanent times. I look to do a stream in the morning, Japan time, possibly some in the afternoon, but definitely then the second one will be in the evening time as well. If you're watching on YouTube, yeah, please put any sort of like comments just to let me know what sort of what sort of things that you might want me to to talk about, or of course you're more than welcome to join in and ask me any questions, or we can go into any sort of topics really. So yeah, please join anytime. Follows super appreciated. Donations are also incredibly appreciated if you do find it interesting, or you want to watch me in the long run. I will look to obviously getting my streaming skills a lot better, looking to work around with this Streamlabs to get up to scratch, and look to get some more things like I like to have a nice streaming setup with a better microphone, not using a headset microphone. It works quite well, but of course it can be too loud, for example, and having a nice microphone that might cut out any sort of outside sounds would be excellent. Plus, it just to generally make the stream a bit higher quality, as well as I would get a better camera. At the moment, I'm using an integrated one on a laptop. I'm looking to finish my desktop at some point as well, and at that point, I would learn to use an actual proper webcam rather than an integrated one. So hopefully you guys have a better, even better quality imagery. I know it does some funky streaming stuff on there as well, so it could be good fun in general as well. So yeah, thanks for coming to the stream, or thanks for checking out the stream on YouTube, or thanks for watching the stream in the in my channel's history, and I'll catch everyone on later this evening. Yeah, take care and sayonara.